I can see both sides of the story. I know some people who are worried about jobs after school, and if school doesn't get out till later, then that being a problem, as well as elementary school kids starting earlier. Kind of puts some families in a bind. So, but I also know that the learning is really good for teenagers later in the day. So I see both sides.
If school time is pushed back, how does this affect you?
I'd have to adjust my schedule. Right now I'm at work by 7:25 at the latest. Sometimes, like today, I got here at 7, so obviously I wouldn't have to be here till 8. So things would just be shifted a little bit later, and then knowing that we wouldn't be off till 3:30 instead of 3:10.
Do you think this is better for students or teachers?
I think the learning would be good. I think a lot of times teenagers are really tired in the morning, and so if we started a little bit later, people would be a little bit more awake. But I also know that things that happen after school are also very important to a student. So whether it be athletics or clubs or working after school are also important in their life as well.
If this law is established, do you think teachers and students should have a say in it?
Oh, definitely. I think it's going to affect us the most, and students, as well as the families in the community. So I think that we definitely have to consider all of those changes before making a decision.
If they do decide to pass this law, when do you think it should happen?
Definitely not till, so we know it's not going to happen until next year, or it won't happen next year. So I would hopefully that they would start the process a little bit earlier, so that we have some time to get used to it before the start of the school year.
What about school time being pushed back?
I think it really kind of depends on the person. Like for me, I would love for it to be pushed back, but I know that it doesn't really fit other people's schedules probably as well as mine. But for me personally, I wish they would.
If this law is established, when should it be initiated?
Probably at the beginning of the school year, right? Like, before the school year starts, because you don't want it in the middle of the school year, they have to switch super fast, nobody will like it, everybody will be groggy about it. And then the end of the year, kind of same problem, but also that won't even last that long, so what's the point? Of course, you could continue into the next year, but still, nobody would like that.
Is this better for teachers or students?
I would say students, because teachers probably have to get up earlier than students anyway, just to be here. Yeah.
If the law is established, do students and teachers, should they have a say in this?
Sorry?
How do you feel about school time being pushed back?
I feel like it's a bad thing because like a person like me, I have like a lot of after school activities and stuff. Like I play sports, and I feel like if school was pushed back further, then the sports like practices will have to be like into like 9 o'clock and stuff, and I have like meals at home ready to eat. And, like I don't think that's something. Yeah, I don't feel good about it. I think if anything, it should start earlier. Yeah.
If this was established, when do you think it should happen?
If it was pushed back further.
Yeah.
If it was, probably like pushed back to like maybe 8 o'clock, like maybe, but no further than that. Just like.
Do you think teachers and students should have a say in this?
I mean, yeah. I mean, students are the one who being made come to school, so they should have a say in when they should come to school because they are going to school. So, yeah. And teachers, yeah, they have like families at home, and they don't want to stay late at school knowing they got a family at home that they want to get to. Yeah.
Do you think it's better or worse for teachers and students?
Like I was saying, I think it's worse because, like I was saying, teachers, they have a family at home. You want to be like all the way at school, and sometimes teachers have meetings after school, and if your school ends at 5 o'clock, then you're gonna be at your meeting until like 8, and then when you gonna come home to your family? And that's like sometimes it might be every day.
How do you feel about school time being pushed back?
I feel like they shouldn't be pushed back because people have other things to do later on in the evening, and getting out later would affect what people have to do in the evening.
How does this affect you?
I work, I have a job, and I do after school sports, so that would interfere with having to go to work late and having to do sports later on, and then it would interfere with everything because I probably wouldn't get that many hours at work as much as I wanted to.
Do you think this is better or worse for teachers and students?
Worse because then they have to get up earlier and go home late to their families later than they already do, and it's just, it wouldn't work.
If this was established, when should it happen?
Never. No, 2019.